Absolutely. He just doesn't do it, but he figured that Darling would maybe try to get ahead of him. He was going to go the opposite way. His target is from about the speakers in left center field over on the fastball. If he gets something off speed, he's going to try to pull it.
0-1. Owen at first, held on by Hernandez. One away. Change, 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's about the target for him. You see, it's right up the middle. That's what he shoots for. Even that fastball, and he'll play your tune from the speaker over to the line.
High fly ball into left center. Dykstra going back on the track at the padding and makes the catch. And back to first comes Spike Owen. Again, that breeze, which is blowing out towards left center, gave that ball a little extra push. And Dykstra took a look at the wall to see just how much room. That's a 20-foot warning track, so he had some room. He had it all the way. There was no doubt about it. So 2 down, a very big out, and the batter is Marty Barrett with Owen at first. 3-0 Mets in the 5th. Barrett doubled and then hit a soft looping ball to Rafael Santana in the 3rd inning. He was jammed in the dirt, and Carter can't find it. By the time he picks it up, Owen remains at first.
I tell you, that's one of the real tough plays, because everybody in the ballpark sees it, and you don't know, you have no idea where that ball is, because what you're trying to do is just try to keep it in front of you, and by doing that, he just has no idea, and you're looking for some help from your pitcher if he can give it to you.
Usually you see that base runner at first and his indecision with a left-hand hitter, but Owen was looking right in.
When that ball's in front, that usually is like a red light for the base runner.
Again, we remind you about Darling and his wild pitches. He's in the dirt a lot. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball 2.
Now, he had him 2-0 when he jammed him and he hit that little pop fly to the shortstop, Santana. That pitch was inside. Now he takes a look to see what's going on here, but with a score of 3-0, he's got to get on. He wants to be the base runner and get the big guys up there.
Bill Buckner is on deck. 2-0. Barrett takes ball 3, and Darling with a look of disgust, and Carter does a little cheerleading before getting the ball back to him.
That's a very polite word, cheerleading, because he let him have some pretty good blast there, because the one thing you don't want to do is walk the guy to get the time run at the plate.
Well, if you walk Owen in Fenway, that's bad enough. And now Davy Johnson thinking if he walks Barrett and lets Buckner come up and hurt him, that's really bad pitching. And a strike. 3-1. 2 out, remember.
I don't know about you, Vin, but I'd have him taking this one too.
Cool enough to allow the pitchers to blow on their hands, although it's very comfortable in the ballpark. 3-1. Big pitch. Strike 2. So with a full count, Carter reminding everybody, keeping the infield in the ball game. Owen will be going. Hernandez is off the bag.
This little Barrett really schooled well in the fundamentals.
Owen at the ready to go. There he goes. Fastball hit up the middle. Base hit. And Owen is on his way to third without a play. So the walk to Spike Owen has been a big play in the inning. And with 2 down, here comes Bill Buckner representing the tying run.
And once again, Barrett is in the middle of it. He did it last night. He did it again tonight. Twice he led off with a double in the first inning, or he had a double in the first inning. Now the base hit on 3-2 when he tried to work for the base on balls. He just sent it right back up the middle past Darling before he could react. And that's what he's supposed to do, set the table, and now it's up to the big guys.
So after retiring 10 in a row, Darling is in trouble, walking on, getting Boggs, and giving up the 3-2 base hit to Barrett. Davy Johnson not having anyone throw in the bullpen. He's sticking with Darling, who had to weather a storm in the first inning. John McNamara hoping that his Sox, who left 4 men in the first 2 innings, will get off the floor and get something going. And here's Buckner, grounded to first, fouled out to first. 100 RBI man this year. Fastball, pop foul off third and way out of play. 0-1. On at third, Barrett at first. And Buckner at the plate. 2 down. 0-1 to Billy.
Buckner is a good fastball hitter. You want him to hit something besides a fastball, but that curveball, you don't want to let up on him so he can pull it between first and second. If it's a curveball, it's got to be the hard curveball.
Little pop fly, and it'll be Wally Backman to put it away, and Darling has dodged the bullet in the 5th. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. The Sox have left 6, and at the end of 5, 3-0 New York.
Now you see where Buddy Harrelson is, and the rule says base coaches shall be limited to 2 in number and shall be in team uniform and remain within the coach's box at all times. That's the rule. Now they got a footnote. It says it has been the common practice for many years for some coaches to put 1 foot outside, so forth and so on. The coach shall not be considered out of the box unless the opposing manager complains, and then the umpire shall strictly enforce the rule and require all coaches on both teams to remain in the coach's box at all times. And the common practice of coming out is okay. If you were a Red Sox catcher or manager, you'd complain, they'd have to make him get in, but until they say something, he's going to stay right where he is, which is a good move on his part.
And Gary Carter at the plate takes a strike. Breaking ball. Remember, he struck out looking at a curveball in the first inning and then hit a fastball out of sight in the 4th. Well, if they allow them to stand there without wearing a helmet, they're going to allow them to stand anywhere they want. 0-1.
The crusade continues.
Yeah. 1 ball and 1 strike.
But what is really interesting about that is all coaches agree they're waiting for the first guy to do it.
I doubt if it would be McNamara. 1-1. Gary, with the home run tonight, has hit in 6 straight.
And had that been a fastball, he'd have had his 2nd home run. But he was looking fastball, and they took something off the curveball, and you saw what happened.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Carter, Strawberry, and Knight, if anybody gets aboard. The DH, Danny Heap. 2-2. Little pop fly back at first. Tough play for Buckner on the bad leg, and it's going to land. And Carter's going to leg it for 2 as Evan has to throw the ball back in. And Gary's in there with a fist double to right field.
He was fooled on that pitch. It was a breaking ball. You could see at the very last minute he just kind of snapped at it, and he didn't really drive that ball. And Carter, when he's up there, I mean, he follows that ball all the way. Take a look at his eyes. Now they'll open up when that ball gets close. Look at that, like somebody put a quarter in his nose. Look at those eyes open up. Good hitters do that.
A modest thing and thine own. A little blooper the other way. In the box score, it's a double. And the batter will be Darryl Strawberry. Evans never had a chance to make a play on him.
And Carter wasn't going to take any chances. He went in head first.
Landing gear down. So here's Strawberry, grounded out on an outside pitch that he tried to pull. So they came right back in the 4th inning and pitched him away. And that time he doubled to left.
Now he has to try to pull, at least get the ground ball to move Carter to third base, because in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, that's when you have to hit that ball to the right side.
For the Mets, their 3rd extra base hit tonight. 2 doubles and a home run. And they had a home run and a couple of doubles last night. Ball one. When you talk to Bill Robinson about Darryl Strawberry, and he's a young player just waiting to be great, and Bill always says, I don't like to mess with him, but he is disturbed over that busy bat of Strawberry's, and especially the way he tilts the top of it like that. It's okay in batting practice when Kenny Harrelson is throwing, or Buddy Harrelson is throwing to him, but in the big leagues, those big league pitches can eat you up.
Well, that bat barrel goes towards first base, as you can see, and it's a little tough to get it going. But again, it's one of those things. I don't blame Bill. You just don't want to mess up a young fellow like that. Not just yet.
1-2.
He has to come to you and say, hey, help me.
Well, Bill says I'd love to have him keep that bat quiet, hold it back, and then just come down on the ball. But he said, I'm afraid I'll wreck him. A very sensitive area. 1-2.
Here's where he has to shorten up, Vin. He's got to shorten up that big swing and at least get the ground ball. But that all comes with playing. I mean, we lose sight of the fact that he's a baby.
That's right.
I mean, he's a baby.
Oh, but what a baby.
Oh.
2-2. Fouled away. Trying desperately by using his right foot to kind of time Nipper. It's all part of the dance.
But the mechanism is so delicate. I mean, it's like fine-tuning. Watch that thing. He almost does like a sweep. And there's so many things he does. And when you do that many things, more things can go wrong.
2-2.
But it's the old saying, if he starts to hit, all that is a trigger mechanism. Right now, it's a problem.
It's a hitch.
It's a hitch. When you hit, there goes the hitch, and it's a trigger mechanism.
Henry Aaron had a hitch, but nobody talks about it because of all the home runs he hit.
Whoever thought Musial would hit with his stance or
Right.
Mel out?
2-2 to Darryl. Now Nipper being overly cautious, nibbling, which is not what the Sox want. And he's 3-2 to Strawberry. Crawford throwing back of him in the pen, and Ray Knight on deck. Nobody out.
Now with men on base, he holds that ball in that bare hand.
High fly ball into deep right field. Evans going back on the track at the pen wall to make the catch. Tagging up is Carter and goes to third. And if Evans doesn't get there, that's in the bullpen.
He had enough room to set himself, but just another foot or so, and Strawberry, they would have said he timed it perfectly. He didn't have a hitch in that swing, but same swing, gets under it. A high towering drive, which allowed Evans to get back there, and he's got plenty of room. Waiting for it. Look at there.
So Strawberry makes out, but he does get his man over to third as he barely misses the home run. And of course, Evans probably hearing familiar words from teammates. Plenty of room. But even with his great arm, Carter was able to move over to third, and Strawberry moves back on the bench. And the hitter is Ray Knight. Single to left, single to center. The infield is up. Ball one. So here in the middle of the game, sixth inning, the Mets leading 3-0. The Sox don't want to give up another run.
Strawberry did his job, though. He did make it out, but he picked up a base.
Knight was number 2 on the Mets this year in scoring fly balls, if you're thinking about him lifting one out of the infield. 1-0. Ball 2.
I only wish the wall had been in right field. Carl was here in the ballpark. He's working in TV. I bet
really
he did
affected
wish.
his career.
Yeah,
He only
certainly
had
did.
23 years or so here.
I wonder what would he hit if that wall was out there. How about Williams too? Ted Williams.
2-0 to Ray Knight. And he's not about to chase, and the count 3-0. Now I'm sure if you're Nipper, you got to think, I don't want to throw him a fastball 3-0 in this spot.
No, because we've seen Knight jump on that 3-0 pitch, and you look at who's coming up next. You got left-hand batter Danny Heap coming up.
The infield tight. The outfield about straight away, and Carter waiting to be picked up at third.
Boy, you have to call his pitch like you just believe that he's going to be swinging at 3-0. Gedman really checking him out.
And he threw in the breaking ball. A little slider in there for a strike. 3-1. I was just thinking of Gedman now with a runner at third. He has to handle maybe a knuckleball, maybe a screwball.
Well, the reputation Nipper has, he's not afraid to throw that breaking ball when he's behind. He certainly showed it there at 3-0. Throw a curveball.
Here he comes, 3-1.
Another one.
Another one. 3-2.
That's the difference between the minor leagues and major leagues in many cases. That pitcher gets behind like that and he throws something besides a fastball, controlling the strike zone.
Full count to Ray Knight. Now will he get the fastball? Doubtful. And a little foul off to the right out of play.
3 in a row.
So it's one breaking ball after the other from 3-0 to 3-2.
But it was interesting you said that, because I'm sure that's what Knight was thinking. Is he going to give me the fastball now, or is he going to come back with another curveball?
Well, one thing, he's got room. In other words, if he walks him, you have Danny Heap coming up. You have a chance of a double play. And McNamara sweating it out in the dugout. Johnson right now kind of sitting back leading and looking for a chance to get some more. Another foul on another breaking ball, and that's back into the seats.
And Nipper right there with Gedman. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You don't see it usually that often or that much, but how many times we've seen it where a catcher or an infielder ball pops out of the glove and the guy standing next to him makes the play. Remember Pete Rose.
And you can't just sit on the thought, well, Gedman won't fall down too. You might as well keep going to try and help out, especially with the runner at third and one away.
Exactly.
So Nipper is hustling, trying to work his way off the hook. 3-2 to Ray Knight. He's thrown him 4 consecutive curveballs, starting 3-0. And the guessing game continues. Fastball whacked to left. Rice handles it, and Carter is going to come anyway. The throw, he is out at the plate.
He broke back to third base, and Rice was able to play shallow and make that play. Rice really didn't get rid of that ball that well. I mean, he had a little trouble gripping it, but I think one thing that helped was Carter kind of broke in. There are a couple things that made the play for the Red Sox. One thing, Rice is in shallow, and as soon as that ball's hit, Carter is off the back. Now he goes back, but it's too late. And Rice, playing shallow, gets off a throw all the way on a fly to Gedman, and Gedman forces Carter to slide in. He's almost closer to first base than he is to plate. Now he tries to tag it, but it's too late.
I can't believe he would try to come in on a line drive to shallow left field. Gedman stayed right with him as he tried to hook inside and avoid the tag. But Gary really made an error of judgment. Harrelson had nothing to do with that. Carter looked at the left fielder, and he made the decision to go.
But as soon as that ball's hit, he's got to go back to the bag, and he watched it about 4 feet off, and then he went back.
And I tell you what the play has done, it has given the Sox new life, and the crowd has been chanting, "Here we go, Red Sox, here we go." Well, we'll see. Rice, Baylor, and Evans in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jim Rice walked in the 1st inning and struck out in the 3rd. 3-0 New York in the 6th. 0-1. Three runs, 7 hits for the Mets. No runs, 3 hits for the Red Sox. Boy, he came right after him with a fastball that time.
And got it in tight. Showed him a message. Just one more caption on that last play, Vin. The wall came into play there because Rice can play so shallow at Shea Stadium. That's a base hit.
So the one fastball that Ray Knight got, he drilled it. And there's a fly ball into right center. Here comes Dykstra. He's got it. One down, and Don Baylor coming up. Friends, once again, we remind you we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ball game. Don Baylor, the DH, walked in the first inning, struck out in the fourth.
He got him with off-speed pitches.
Backman is doing his walk behind second base. High fly ball down the left field line. Mookie in the corner. He's got it. Fine play by Mookie in the left field corner.
There's that swirling wind they talk about, and Mookie, a big smile on his face. He got there, and you could just see that ball kind of be taken away from him. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of room when he gets near that wall. You saw him look for it, and he found it. He's so close. Now watch it kind of drift away from him.
Tell you one thing, it looks like Mookie's having himself a ball, and he might very well enjoy it, because when you think about it, in the blink of an eye, as far as a man's life is concerned, from the World Series to an old-timers game, it's just around the corner, and he's having fun. Here's Evans with Gedman on deck. Evans, a big out in the first inning with the bases loaded. He hit into a force play. Last time up in the fourth, he flied to left. Ball one.
I have never seen it. There's Mookie from Corey's camera behind him. That's what he's looking at.
I grew up from that position. Behind the center fielder in the bleachers in the old Polo Ground. Ball two. 2-0.
This is an interesting inning because if a baseball game is really charted by a graph, the Red Sox up because of the big play, the Mets have to answer that challenge. How do you do it? By setting them down 1, 2, 3. It's just like when they scored 3, you got to come back and score 1 or 2.
Well, we have 2 out here in the 6th inning. Ball 3. So the low ball hitter, he's up around the eyes, and he's behind 3-0. On deck, Gedman.
And did you see how hard Gary threw that ball back to him? A lot of times when a catcher throws that ball back to the pitcher, he's delivering a message. He'll gun one and say, come on, shake it up.
3-0. And he walked him. So for Darling, he's fighting himself. He has walked 4. And with 2 down, Gedman the batter. The biggest walk, the walk that put heat on the Mets bench and on Darling, was the walk he gave to Owen in the 5th inning, but he worked himself off the hook. Last year, he walked 114 batters. However, this year he reduced it by about 1/3. Meanwhile, the Mets in the bullpen staying warm.
Improvising as always.
Getty doubled and popped up. 1 for 2. Fastball hit down the left field line. That's going to be against the wall. Mookie plays the bounce. Into third goes Evans. A throw to second, and they got Gedman. And both catchers have run themselves out of an inning. Where Gedman was going, they shot him down. No runs. 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 6, 3-0 New York. We'll be right back.
What Jim Rice told us, when that ball hits from the scoreboard to the line, it's a true bounce. Mookie plays it perfectly, even though he hasn't played the wall that much, and you would think that Gedman, with a pretty good idea what happens, tries to get in the second. It's not even close, and the tying run, forget about it. That never gets to the batter's box. Ball was well hit, and the slide wasn't exactly right out of a textbook. Knight, who turns into a spectator watching it, and look at him rooting.
Remember, the hitter who would have been coming up with Evans at third and Gedman at first would have been Dave Henderson.
And as Knight reacted cheering, you saw Evans put his head down in despair.
High pop fly off third. Wade Boggs coming over in front of the Mets dugout, and that takes care of Danny Heap. Heap was left at the plate on the line drive by Knight and the running mistake by Carter. So the catchers have a lot in common and a chance to chat Steve Crawford, you might remember, came in the second game, worked an inning and 2/3 and allowed just 1 hit. As you can see, he didn't have a win during the regular year, but he's had 2 during the postseason. He won the 9-3 game. Well, here's Mookie making his contributions in left field. Mookie caught a drifting fly ball. He had to fall down to handle it, went up against the wall to make one, and then threw out Gedman. He's been busy. Bouncer by the mound to the left of Owen and into center field, base hit. So Mookie is 1 for 3, and that'll bring up Rafael Santana as Crawford surrenders a single.
Just hits it right back up the middle.
Nipper in 6 innings allowed 3 runs, 7 hits. Now Crawford allows a base hit, and here's Santana coming up. Santana hit back to the box and struck out. Mookie runs well at first. Right. We're in the 7th inning, 3-0 New York. Wilson with 25 stolen bases, so he's always a threat. And they know it. That was close.
Mookie's another one of the players that Davey Johnson gives the green light to. Mookie kind of leaning. Diving back.
0-1. And he bluffs, and the ball hit foul. I think Santana trying to take a shot to right field, and the count 0-2.
He may have faked Santana into that one.
Hard to believe that a big league hitter can be trying to hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and yet he can spot the runner.
Believe.
Yeah, that's why they're in the big leagues.
I've seen some guys do things I couldn't believe. Think you got the ball in your mitten, they'll take it right out.
And got him looking, so Santana strikes out for the second out. Strikeout number 1 for Steve Crawford. Wilson holding at first, and Dykstra coming up.
Center fielder Leighton Dykstra.
Right down the middle, it seemed like. Gedman ready to go.
Davey Johnson, if he has flashed his sign to Buddy Harrelson, Dykstra had a long look at Harrelson before getting in. He is grounded to short, grounded to first, and hit back to the box. And Boggs still looking bunt on the grass. 0-1.
I tell you, Mookie really does a job down there. He fakes a lot of starts, and he snaps the infield going. I tell you, he's been getting a good enough jump. I'd kind of look for him to take off.
Sure, and of course a good base runner like Wilson will open up a couple of holes. Either Barrett or Owen breaking on the pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Close again. Crawford's quick and coming over there.
I don't think Mookie wanted that one to be quite that close. Kind of goes in standing up and almost nonchalants it in there, and that ball gets over there in a hurry.
1-0 to Len Dykstra. Time. Crawford doing a pretty good job of trying to hold the ball on Mookie, trying somehow to ruin his timing.
Well, he did it by throwing over there, and then he wants to break the rhythm so he can't time when he's going to release that ball.
Sometimes you get an impatient runner, and holding the ball on him really pays off. That's what Crawford is trying to do.
And Mookie is an impatient runner. That's the word on him. If
Yep.
you can hold it long enough, the engine gets started, he's got to go.
3-0 Mets, top of the 7th, 2 out. And he's going. The pitch is a strike. Gedman's on a bounce. It hits Mookie, and it's deflected to Spike Owen. And that saves a base. Otherwise, the ball's into center field, and Mookie is at third.
And that big Crawford really got down. You look for Mookie to go. He was getting a good jump on his false starts, and then there he goes. And I mean, it's a straight steal. You see his head down looking for the bag, and the throw comes right into him, hits him right in the arm, and it goes right to Owen. That tells you it's a straight steal.
So because of the fortunate carom, the Sox are lucky that Mookie is at second and not third with 2 out, and Dykstra with the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, that ball Gedman threw in such a hurry really sailed or tailed into the runner.
When you do that, it's because you don't have all seams. You're not throwing across the seams, and you throw that sailor. Big Crawford had to duck on that throw.
Well, we'll see now about Dykstra picking him up. On deck, Wally Backman. Boy, did he fly open on that one. 1-2. Remember, Gedman caught 4 of 5 base runners in the league championship series. The Mets have turned it around on him. The Mets have now stolen 4 out of 5 against Gedman and really the pitcher. 1-2. High fly ball into pretty deep right field. Back goes Evans on the track at the wall. Leaps, he can't get it. Home run for Dykstra. And what a picture Evans paints in right field.
He got that ball inside. He got the other one outside. He missed the strike, and he gets this one inside, and the little guy just turns on it and pumps it into the seats.
Lenny Dykstra, who inspired the Mets with a first-inning home run last night. And all you really have to do is look at Dwight Evans for the whole story. It's worth more than 1,000 words.
You got a glove on it.
Now look.
Wally Backman.
There it is. That's the picture.
Backman.
Well, what goes around comes around. All you have to do is think back. Anaheim Stadium in Southern California. Dave Henderson, Bobby Grich, the long drive to center. Henderson getting his glove on it and spilling it over. And now Evans is hit by the same thunderbolt, and it's 5-0 New York.
Dykstra is putting on a great exhibition of how to play this game, and not being 9'8" and weighing 290 pounds. He gets him thinking about bunting and running, and when you get close, he hits a home run.
I can't believe how hard he swings, too. I can understand Davy Johnson's somewhat complaint about, hey, little man, just try to pick up the runner. There's a guy at second base, and he takes you deep. That's shocking.
But that first one outside, he just kind of tried to punch it to left field. They got inside. He turned on it.
3-0. Right. 5 runs, 9 hits for the Mets. No runs, 4 hits for the Sox in the 7th. High foul off third, out of play. You know, it's so quiet in Boston, you can almost hear New York. Talk about lightning hitting twice. This was Henderson going after Bobby Grich's ball. High, glove, and over. Evans actually got his glove on the ball leaning over the fence. Same result. 3-2. Fouled away. John McNamara rolled the dice, came up snake eyes. Nipper gave up 3. Now Crawford gives up 2, and he's down 5-0. Ray Knight has time to smile and chat with his manager. The Mets think they're even. We'll see. Interesting, too, looking at Knight's number. 2-2. 2 down and a full count to Wally Backman. Fouled away.
I tell you, both Dykstra and Backman really give you a good illustration as we look at Dykstra on the bench, a good illustration of what concentration is all about. Backman, he's concentrating on sending that ball back up the middle. That's what he wants to do. That's his target. Dykstra looked like he was going to hit the ball in the opposite field, and got the ball inside. He just took the top hand off the ball, and there she goes, home run.
3-2 to Wally. Fastball hit to Marty Barrett. A little tricky hop, but he stays with it. Well, we showed you the picture of despair of Dwight Evans. What about the other side of the coin? Mr. Lenny Dykstra. This is how he reacted. And at the end of 6 1/2, 5-0 New York. Here's that dramatic picture that I'm sure will be etched in many minds for quite a while. Not so much Evans going back, and not so much that the ball went off his glove. But oh, that look of utter frustration and despair. That's the picture. Life in the big leagues. Dave Henderson, who had a chance to be a hero if they had only allowed him the opportunity, and that was when Gedman ran the Sox out of the inning. Henderson was due out. Ball 2. Two and 0. Right. Henderson struck out in the 2nd inning, struck out again in the 5th. The difference, he struck out on a curve, and then he was caught looking at a fastball in the 5th inning. 2 and 1. Fastball, so he's a little mesmerized up there now.
Not only that, the pitch, Vin, Darling is really doing a job of controlling the strike zone. I mean, he is spotting that ball so well right on the outside corner. He's got him to where he can throw the curveball or the fastball now.
5-0 Mets, bottom of the 7th. Fouled away. Darling, trouble in the 1st inning, slight trouble in the 2nd, and then seemed to get his rhythm and retired 10 in a row. And then gave up a walk and a base hit in the 5th inning, a walk and a base hit in the 6th inning. But with Getty trying to go for 2, he was off the hook and now starts afresh here in the bottom of the 7th. Two and 2. Busted bat and a fly ball down the left field line. Mookie over to make the catch, and look at the foul territory. Just about enough for a camp chair. And the bat broken, and Henderson, a picture of frustration, going back to the dugout. 1 down, and Spike Owen, the batter, grounded out, and then, much to the disgust of Ron Darling, walked in the 5th. Dave Henderson struck out twice, breaks his bat, and fouls out. It's been a long night for Hendu. Ball 1. You've seen the anguish of Dwight Evans. It wasn't always quite that way. So later on, we'll dust off a happy memory for Dwight. 2 and 0.
He's just really disgusted with himself because he's just trying to throw a fastball over the middle of the plate for a strike, and here he is behind, 2 balls and no strikes. He's got a 5-run lead.
To a guy who hit 130 against right-handers this year. 2 and 1.
And that was borderline.
Spike's got 1 home run this year in 591 plate appearances. Uno. And he's behind ball 3. 3 and 1.
when you get like that, you're disgusted with yourself. You really get to aiming the ball, and you say, well, I'm just going to throw it down the middle and let him hit it, and you just can't find the plate. And everybody's telling you what to do, and you're saying, what do you think I'm trying to do?
In there. So 3-2. He's not trying to finesse him. He's trying to get the ball for a strike. Mel Stottlemyre on the left. Johnson on the right. Mel, of course, pitched for the Yankees and pitched many times here at Fenway. 3-2. Foul ball down the left field line, out of play.